Hi everyone, my name is Charlie, and today I have a currently reading video for you. I have finished listening to Nevermoor, The Trials of Morrigan Crow by Jessica Townsend. I finished it on Monday whilst doing a jigsaw, and it was quite marvellous. Once again, it reminded me of Diana Wynne Jones. I can see where people are getting the idea of this being the next Harry Potter. In the fact that the world does feel like there's a scope there, and there's this story with this mysterious dark character who we get told about throughout the entire thing. And there was the whole thing of a he who must not be named type thing from Harry Potter used for a certain character within this. But I think that this was where my conversation about references came last week, because when do we stop saying that things are directly stealing and not having their own originality, or whether they're just referencing another piece of work and doing it in quite the splendid fashion. Also, I think that if you actually look back through time, writers and artists have constantly been inspired and referenced one another as a way of showing their appreciation of another work. And that's what I got here from Nevermoor. I got this appreciation of the author of all these great pieces of children's fiction that there had been before, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. I saw that in here. I know the author said she was inspired by the Wizard of Oz series, didn't she? I saw Diana Wynne Jones in here, and there is these references to Harry Potter. But then what we have to remember is they're not necessarily references. They're just the inspiration of this author who's taking every bit of work that they've read and creating this conglomerate of ideas. And I just thought it was brilliant. I thought the characters were astounding. There was a problem with the characters for me, which I think is just because it's going to be a series. So I think that it's just the characters' trajectories are able to go on through more books than just having to have their entire journey in this one. It was very fast paced, but I think that that's a clear move by the writer, as nowadays I do think that children's fiction is a bit more fast paced than it was back in my day. Anyway, I didn't mean to give you a quick review of that book, but I have so many thoughts about it. I really enjoyed the umbrella rail line. I thought that was such a simple idea, yet it worked so well. And there's this is what I looked for in children's fiction a few years ago before I went and wrote my own children's book, because I wanted a children's book that would kind of discombobulate me. And I know that I'm using the word incorrectly, but it was just something that I wanted. Discombobulate to me has always been this feeling of just wonder. And this gave me that childlike wonder. And I know that I'm 25 and probably shouldn't be saying that, but it did. And it made me very enthusiastic to continue with this series, because whilst it is children's fiction, I think that we shouldn't be using that as a thing to say it's excluding certain age groups, because we know that there have been many crossover series in the past. And I would heartily recommend this book to anybody, as has been noted, because I've gone on for it for 4 minutes in a currently reading video. I'm actually currently listening to Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. This is the big fantasy book that was doing the rounds last year, and I always meant to purchase it and never got around to it. And basically, it's this former mercenary band have come together as one of their members, his daughter, has been caught up in some big battle somewhere, and they want to go there and save her. And this reminds the narration of it, because obviously I'm listening to it, reminds me of the classic westerns. The voice actor, I don't know what they call them, reader, has the voice that just seems suited to westerns. And it's even the language reminds me somewhat of that, and I'm quite appreciative of that, because me, my father used to watch quite a lot of westerns, so it brings me a bit of nostalgia anyway to hear that sort of tone. And I can't say that it's doing anything like groundbreaking, but I am exceptionally glad to see a group of older characters coming together and proving that they are just as good as they were when they were younger, and that just because you've reached a certain age group, it doesn't mean that you have to be written off. It's a bit like a grittier version of Last of the Summer Wine set in a fantasy world, and I am thoroughly enjoying it. Well, I had less to say about that than I did about Nevermoor. I have given away my copy of The Leavers by Lisa Coe. That is currently at the writers group waiting for someone to pick it up. I still haven't got round to reading Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race, and I think I definitely need to read that book. It's this like necessity, and I keep talking about not wanting to be bored by books, and I don't think that that book would bore me. It just hasn't fit into like the time that I have at the moment. I don't know where my time's going. Obviously, I didn't intend to like spend a load of time doing a jigsaw this week. Well, I did it the weekend because clearly I did it. But yeah, I need to like think about how I'm using my spare time, I think. Maybe get a bit more writing done. That would be a good idea. Anyway, what are you reading at the moment? If you've read either of these books, well, maybe just Nevermoor at the moment, because I don't want you kind of spoiling the other one for me, then please feel free to discuss them in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, that is all.